Hey gang, this is JC, and this is your Daily Dose for Thursday, July 15th, 2010. A cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. It's going to be hot here. Dave Murray's weather forecasts down in the corner every day here at jc'sdailydose.com. Archives at the top of the page, and you can subscribe to the audio of the Daily Dose over in the corner via iTunes. Sorry about yesterday. I was on the road. I'll get to that in just a minute. We had a little technical glitch, so there was no Daily Dose. But I did get home yesterday afternoon and was greeted by, this is right out of my own garden. Look at that. Is that beautiful or what? Beautiful zucchini. And we're growing eggplant. I think this is the Italian eggplant. Man, oh man, look at that. We're frying that up tonight, boy. Ooh, good stuff. Triple C. Get yourself an eggplant recipe and zucchini, because here we go. We continue on our 15-month paid vacation. And a little bit about the All-Star game the other night, because as we said, we didn't have a dose yesterday. Matt Holliday. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? The man does not know how to go back and a fly ball to the wall. He almost blew the game for the National League. But that sheer athleticism displayed by Marlon Byrd late in the game there to preserve the win for the National League, the Cubs outfielder in right field. First of all, he had to make sure that that ball didn't bounce away from him. And then he whirls without even looking and throws a one-hop strike to the second baseman. They double up Ortiz. You cannot teach that. Then again, it is the All-Star game, so you expect a little bit of perfection once in a while. So congratulations to the National Leaguers. George Steinbrenner, I know they were doing a bunch of tributes and stuff. I missed all that stuff at the beginning of the game. George Steinbrenner, the only man to have screwed more Yankees than Madonna. All right, Sarah Palin yesterday defending the Tea Partiers against charges of racism. She said they don't care if he's half white or half black. And who would know better about something like that than somebody who served half a term? Khloe Kardashian says she's often mistaken for Mandy Moore. I have seen Khloe Kardashian on TV, and I'm surprised more people don't mistake her for Michael Moore. Before he died, Michael Jackson apparently was working with scientists and doctors to see if they could get his chimp, Bubbles, to talk. He wanted a talking monkey. Had they been successful, I'm sure it would have been like, pedophile, pedophile, put his hand down his pants, gave him Jesus juice, yeah. All right, I told you this a couple of weeks ago, right here on the Daily Dose, that the successor to Larry King on CNN was going to be this guy, Piers Morgan. You watch. Maybe before the end of the day, they'll make that announcement. All right, we teased this the other day, and let's deliver on it right now. The people at Cracked.com have come out with the 4 most dangerous days of the year. The 4 most dangerous days of the year. Here they are. First is July 1st. Not a day that I would have guessed, but it turns out that hospitals on July 1st take in their new batch of interns. So you got a lot of people just sort of wandering around. They don't know where they're going. And according to a Harvard study, they're not messing around. They went to Harvard on this. It results in an additional 1,500 to 3,000 deaths every year. If you're feeling sick, wait until August. Number 2 on the list of 4 most dangerous days, the second Monday in March. This one I knew because it's the first work day after the clocks change for daylight savings time. And everybody is walking around disoriented and sleep deprived. And there's more accidents and a 6 to 10% leap in heart attacks on that first workday after they change the clocks. Number 3 is New Year's Eve. And everybody knows New Year's Eve, you're taking your life in your hands if you try to drive around at night. But what you may not have known is that there more people die walking on December 31st than any other day of the year. And finally, Christmas Day. Well, you got all this stress, and you've been eating until you explode with a lot of fatty foods and sugars and things like that that you might not normally eat. You perhaps have been involved in strenuous activity, maybe some sledding or something like that, and there's a lot of stress. You got people in your house you don't want in your house, and you're working your fireplace because you want it to be Christmassy. So you set yourself on fire, you're all stressed out, you give yourself a heart attack, and then you get to the hospital, and because it's the holiday, the hospital is operating with a skeletal staff, and so you die on a gurney in a hallway. Have a nice day. All right, I alluded to this the other day when we were in Michigan, and here we are back home now. I got to tell you, I put about 1,500 miles on the car in 59 hours. I'm going to repeat that. 1,500 miles in 59 hours. we went up through Indiana into Fort Wayne and Lansing, Michigan, and then Flint, Michigan, and then back down to the Chicago suburbs and up to Wisconsin and through DeKalb, Illinois, where I went to school and all that sort of stuff. Without getting mushy on you here, I have to sort of tell you what I was up to. You know, if you're watching this right now, chances are you were born and raised in St. Louis, you went to grade school, high school here, then maybe you went off to college and maybe you came back and you know, you're living in the suburbs somewhere, maybe in the city, I don't know. Well, I left home on the south side of Chicago when I was in my early 20s, 22 years old, back in the late 1970s. And it was hard enough for my own family to keep track of me, let alone my childhood friends and high school friends and college friends. And all I know is all of a sudden I blinked and it was 2010 and I realized I had no connection, not only to my childhood, but not even my early career. And that is a dynamic that most of you probably can't even imagine. Imagine, you know, like not ever running into anybody you knew as a kid. See, I never do. And I haven't for probably 25, 30 years. So I've been sort of trying to pick up the pieces, I guess. And I looked up a guy on the internet who was my best friend through most of grade school and even into high school. And I hadn't seen the guy in, I figured it was 33 years. We found each other on the internet, and so the other day I found myself sitting in a very small town in southern Wisconsin with my buddy Paul. This guy was the smartest guy in school, the most advanced socially. The girls loved him. I sort of treated him like my older brother, even though we were the same age. So the other day I found myself sitting in his backyard talking about stuff I hadn't even thought about in 40 years. You know, I ran with a bunch of guys who were borderline, well, I shouldn't say borderline, they were juvenile delinquents. And some of those guys never got off that path. A couple of guys are dead. A lot of guys are either in reform, you know, they got sent to reform school, went to jail, in and out of jail. A couple of guys checked out early. One guy stole an ambulance. It's just, you know, sort of amazing stuff. It's been an interesting couple of days, and I guess I'm trying to reconnect with my childhood on some level. Either that, folks, or JC is cracking up. Anyhow, Paul, it was great to see you. That's what happens when they give you a 15-month paid vacation. All right, the Travel Channel at 3:30 this afternoon is going to rerun that Man vs. Food episode with Adam Richman when he was here in St. Louis, and it's great. If you haven't seen it and you have the capacity to set your DVR, have somebody run home and do it, 3:30 today on the Travel Channel. You'll see St. Louis depicted very well, I should point out. All right, JC's Wayback Machine this week is an old TV commercial from KEZK, perhaps the first soccer mom ever depicted on local TV. JC's Video Village with the All-Star Game having taken place this week. We go back to 1997 for a piece I did on Channel 4 about how the Cardinals have been depicted in film over the years. Not necessarily the news this week is Albert and his bladder. All right, JC's Eye Candy today. You're never going to see this on TV, but it still ranks as what's got to be the best Home Depot commercial ever. It's about 3 or 4 minutes long. You'll never see it on your TV, but watch it on your computer, and be careful who's watching while you're watching, okay? I'll just leave it at that. Tomorrow, the 6 biggest mistakes women make. There's only 6? And also, to get even, we'll do the top 10 fashion mistakes that guys make. All right, we're going to fry up the eggplant and the zucchini. And the tomatoes are coming, too. The tomatoes are coming. And the basil and everything. We've got a great garden this year. And next year, it's going to be sugar snap peas, because Michelle across the street did sugar snap peas, and man, I love those. They're so good. Okay, but I digress. That's it. That's enough of JC's ramblings for a Thursday morning, July 15th, 2010. A cooperative venture with Mind Active in beautiful downtown Brentwood. That's your daily dose. And in the meantime, we've beaten this one to death. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.